Well, hello everyone. Here to show you that the real reflection coloring right here is I went ahead and drew right here is a picture of, you see the eye, and then line here right here is you got right here is a bird. Of course, it's like whenever I was young that of course like to say birds, it's like drawing birds, and then of course it's like knowing about the type of birds. Like I had a pet bird at one time, and then of course it's like that when I ate got it's like if they got old and of course lived as long as it could. But other than that, that you probably think about is like if you could maybe have a bird that you think that more likely would live forever. It is knowing about it's like if you can maybe do something like see artistic. It is knowing about it's like if it's you say the tropical rainforest. And I remember doing that, plays like that whenever I was in school. It was. It's like if you were to do like an activity such as the tropical rainforest or anything like that. But you have right here is the details, you see, of the bird, and you got right here is the sky right here for the bird. But then of course you got with the eyeball right there, is that with the reflection of say of the bird, and of course you got it's like with the sky right here. And so far with real reflection, if most of us, whenever we look at each other, whenever we look at ourselves and maybe each other in the mirror, it is that a lot of times if we noticed that really if we can really kind of see the real fact, the truth is like about who we are, about knowing about is like what we can do, is knowing about is like it's like so far as the saying of the song is like I'm a big kid, look what I can do. I can tie my shoe and so can you, or something like that. But was talking about with the you got right there with the bird, and then of course I'm gonna go ahead and add you say is that you say for the word say for beautiful is go ahead and like add like a stream of water right here, a stream of water. And of course it's like if the bird will be flying up close to the stream of water, and that knowing about that if it can actually see itself. It's like you have right here is that you got it's like the bird say reflection right here, that with the claws, at the claws about right here, and then that with the wingspan it is. But other than that, if you have like the shadow right there, and then of course it's like add just a little bit of green right here. But other than that is knowing about that a lot of times that with most people think about was like, what do you think usually whenever you look at yourself in the mirror? Does it kind of remind you a little bit about what you can do, or maybe about how you feel from the inside? It is. But a lot of times is knowing about that whenever I look at the what you call it is like this past day or two, it was raining, and of course it was like that that being able to look at myself through say a puddle of a clear water, of rain water it is. And then of course if it was rain water or anything anything related to a stream, it is that more likely knowing about is like if you can actually see yourself inside of the stream of water. You got the blue, and then of course is that adding another blue, but then this will be like what you call a little darker blue right here. Go ahead and start right here for the stream, and so you got the shadow right there. And then of course go ahead and add up so you can see the green right here, the green, because of course you see that the pair is like knowing about the green, and then along with the say the orange at about right here. Anyway, they got maybe put a little bit more detail into it, but other than that, you got right there is with the bird, and then that knowing about that with the the eye is that knowing about that is like you got right here is what you call is that the part say the pupil it is. And then of course that with the pupil that with most of us would probably know that that if we learned in school, it was I think the 7th or 8th grade when I learned about the different parts of say of the eye, that you have that part say the pupil, that whenever you're around a place where there where it's say where the lights are off, and then more likely the pupil, your pupil would shrink. It would get smaller. It would get smaller, and then of course if you're in a place where the lights come on, it starts getting bigger, something like that. It's if I remember right, it gets it gets bigger whenever the lights are on, or something like that, and then it gets smaller when the lights are off. But other than that, really, it's been a while, so I'm like knowing about if they get bigger or smaller, or maybe if that they just change color at the whenever the lights are on or off. But then of course you have right here is to say is the part of the eye right here. But if you were to actually look at yourself in the mirror, I know about what to say with the eye, and then of course you got right here with me is looking into the mirror, which I went and added the colors right here. If I were actually looking at myself in the mirror, it's like with me is like drew this say off of a photo, is knowing about that this type of picture right here reminds me of knowing about how safe and secure it is, knowing about if I were to say this image right here reminds me if I were to actually buckled up nice and tight, if I were to be going on a road trip somewhere, anything like that, if I was buckled nicely, seated down, or it could have been maybe at the doctor's office or anything like that, seated down. And then you have right here is that you got the seat belt, and then of course all the other details I went ahead and added right there. But see here, go ahead and add a little bit of color right here. But you have right here is a picture right here of me, and then of course is to go ahead and add a little bit of color right here. It's like if I would be looking into a mirror, that I would be able to see myself, and then knowing about the fact about who I am and what I can do. It's like knowing about that I can raise my hand, I can speak my own words, and I can draw out say my emotions. It is knowing about it's like my reflection. Like the whole true part about this, like for what I can do is like if I can act right, act for like so far as knowing about a script right. But other than that, that go ahead and use is the yellow, and with the yellow is to go ahead and add a little bit of yellow right here. It's like for the face. But then of course that that's what I look like back in the young age. Of course knowing about with the say with the cameras, it is a lot of times with cameras is knowing about that that whenever I was growing up, of course it's like knowing about that one a camera, and then I know my parents had a camera, and I a lot of times it's like the only thing that I really could afford was one of those yacky back type toys. They were only about $10 store. But it's like that you get one of those things, and then it records your voice, and really that's the only thing I really had until I got other things later on, such as say a camcorder, and along with that say you got a computer and e-reader and stuff like that. But before I get into like what you call Photoshop, it is knowing about the real reflection between, it's like with me, and of course it's like you get the eyeball and all the details right here of the bird it is. But it's like you got right here is like knowing about with me, I never had a set of braces before, but knowing about with me, you have right there is a color image right there of me. Know about, and this is what I can do. Other than that, is knowing about is like if you had a little white, you maybe add a little white right there, detail right there for the border. But other than that is talking about right there with real reflection is like with the eye, and along with the bird, and along with the say is so far as for beautiful art it goes is biased for real reflection.